What's up everybody, welcome back. I am Ant217 and today I'm going to show you how I went from drawing like this to drawing like this. Now, I'm not currently where I want to be in my artistic journey, but I do plan on continuing my growth. So today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that I use to improve and how I'm going to continue to improve in my artistic journey. So these are the things that I do to become a better artist, and I think everything that I'm going to say today will help everyone watching improve as well. So this is 5 tips to become a better artist. Let's get started. Tip number 1. Now, I know you're gonna hate hearing this. You probably heard it 100 times and you hate it every time. I know I hated it. It's a very important tip. Tip number 1 is draw every day. Yes, I know. Some of you have other responsibilities like a job or school or kids, and you can't afford to just draw every single day. So try to draw as much as humanly possible for you. If you find some free time, then draw something. If you find yourself in the bathroom for extended periods of time, take a sketchbook. Don't sit on the toilet just scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, unless it's my Instagram. Now, when I say draw every day, it does not have to be a masterpiece every single day. It can be a few sketches here and there. It can be practice figure drawing, anything. Like I said, take your sketchbook to the bathroom, but be careful in there. No splashing and stuff. You don't want to dirty your sketchbook. And wash your hands, okay? Wash your hands. Anyway, I know an artist that every night he draws before he goes to bed. So it can be like an hour, it can be 2 hours, it can be 10 minutes, but right before he goes to bed, he just draws. He does figure drawing every single night. If you can't draw every single day because you have work or something like that, you gotta be up in the morning, try to do 5 minutes of figure drawing. You know, just go on Google and Google something and just draw that one figure every night. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour if you can. But yeah, this was tip number 1, wash your hand. Draw every day. Now, tip number 2. I don't understand why a lot of new artists are against this. Use references. Use references, all right? Some artists think that using references is cheating, but even the pros use references. The pros use references. The pros use references. You think Leonardo da Vinci just woke up one day and just painted Mona Lisa from his mind? No, she sat there, he looked at her, and he painted her. So he used her as a reference to paint her. So with that being said, you can use references from life. You can use photo references, and my personal favorite, video references. I know a lot of times when you Google or you search up a reference of somebody kicking, it's someone posing or acting like they're kicking, but they just really put their foot up and they're not really kicking. It's hard to explain. But when you go on YouTube, you search up something like a UFC fight, you see somebody actually throwing a kick, and then you press pause, you have a real, natural, organic reference of a kick. It looks more believable, it looks more real. I'm not saying you shouldn't use images, you can. I'm just saying try other references as well. Now, be careful over referencing. By that I mean you take a reference and you literally just copy it exactly how it is, and you put your name on it and you sell it. If you're gonna do that, try to get permission from the person you're referencing. Obviously, you should have permission. And you can give credit to the photographer or the model or whoever it is that you need to credit. So be careful with over-referencing. If you're gonna just copy a reference for practice, then that is fine. You don't have to worry about over-referencing. I think that's a great idea as well. To avoid over-referencing, I suggest using more than one reference. I oftentimes use 3 or 4, sometimes more. Sometimes when I have my references all on one page, it's filled. Sometimes I have a reference for a hand pose that I like. Sometimes I have a reference for a head tilt that I like. Sometimes I like the lighting on one photo than I do the other. Sometimes I like the color scheme of one photo or a drawing. If I like the way the wrinkles of the shirt look on one reference, I might keep that as a reference as well and add that to my finished piece. But yeah, sometimes you think you know what something looks like, but you really don't. All right, sometimes you think I know what a tree looks like, or I know what a dog looks like, and then you draw a dog and no. You know what it looks like, but in your brain you think you know what it looks like, but when you actually put it down on paper, it just doesn't look right. All right, so yeah, that was tip number 2. Again, use references. All right, now tip number 3, choose a focus. Art is very broad, so choose what you like or what you want to do in your art journey and focus on that. If you want to be a caricature artist, then draw caricatures. If you want to be a storyboard artist, then focus on learning how to do storyboards. If you want to do digital paints for video games, then focus on that. Just choose an objective, and it can be a temporary objective. It can change, and that's fine, but try to stick with something for at least a month. But yeah, choose an objective. And hear me out. I know committing to one thing for a while can be scary. Have you ever played an adventure game and you're on this main story path, the things you have to do to complete the story, to complete the game, and then you look at the map and then there's these little symbols of, I don't know, question marks, and those are side missions? Yeah, you can do that in your art journey. So if you want to focus on caricatures, but then today you feel like doing some storyboarding, that is fine. Do your storyboarding. As long as you get back to your main story, to your main goal, and continue on that path, then you can have your side quests, you can have your side missions. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, so that is tip number 3, choose your focus. Choose your path. All right, now tip number 4. This one is equally as important, and I know some people don't like it, but it's a very important tip. Now, tip number 4 is take classes. Some people watching this video might be in grade school and can only take one art class or have only one art class. Ask your teacher for extra assignments or extra instruction. Ask your teacher to look at some of your work and how can you improve that. So if you are trying to take your art more serious, then that's what you have to do. You might have to ask people to teach you. Even if it's a classmate that just seems to know how to draw better, ask them to help you, ask them to teach you some stuff. Also, some people might not have good money to go to an art college, and I understand that can be tough, but there are free resources online, like your favorite artists on YouTube. There are also websites like Skillshare that are paid classes, but they do have free trials and you can cancel at any time. So if you think you need to cancel it, then you can cancel. You might be able to see some good classes here and there before you have to decide on whether or not you want to continue with those courses. Me personally, I think the best way to learn art is to watch other artists' art. Watch other artists draw, paint, whatever it is that you want to, whatever your medium is. And that doesn't mean you have to watch only the medium that you are focused on. You can learn a lot from watching a traditional painter as a digital artist. You can learn a lot watching even a sculptor as a digital artist. Now, one of the best resources I think to learn art is Patreon. Patreon is not free. It can get pretty expensive as it's a monthly subscription, and the artist can charge what they want to charge. So it can be pricey, but your favorite artist that you find on YouTube might be on Patreon. Some artists you like on TikTok might be on Patreon. And honestly, I learned a lot on Patreon. Right now I am subscribed to 2 artists. And yeah, it's could be pricey, but cancel your Netflix. Learn something. One other thing that you can do to take classes is joining a boot camp. Now, most of them are not free, but yeah, you can join a boot camp. Boot camps are fun, and they give you assignments. And every week you have a new assignment, or every month, depending on the boot camp, you have a new assignment, and they give you instruction, and then they critique your assignment, and then you can show all the other people taking the boot camp. And honestly, I've taken a few boot camps, and I think I've learned the most from one boot camp than I did in my college career. Boot camps are great. That was tip number 4, take classes, you nerds. And this is the last tip. This is tip number 5, study the pros. I kind of touched up on that on the last tip when I said watch other artists, but this is more of This is more than just watching them draw. This is study their work. You don't have to just watch them paint or draw or whatever. You don't have to watch them actually do the process. Watching them is the best though. I think you learn more when you actually watch them do what they do. You learn some tricks here and there and how they get the lighting that they get, or how they draw a specific pose and stuff like that. But if you don't have the luxury of watching their process, grab some of their work and actually study the piece. Look at the way the light shines off of certain objects, how they paint the pose, how they render certain things. Just study the artist. If you can actually replicate one of your favorite artists' paintings and successfully do that, it's honestly a boost in your confidence. You notice different things when you study a piece than when you just look at it. And like I stated earlier, it doesn't have to be in the same medium as you. As a 2D digital artist, you can learn a lot from a traditional sculptor. You can learn a lot from a digital 3D sculptor. You can learn honestly from a little kid drawing or coloring in a coloring book, honestly. You'd be surprised. So study the pros, study artwork. That was tip number 5, study the pros. And there you have it, the 5 tips that I use to become a better artist. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe. If you didn't like it, still do the same. Also, please leave a comment if there are tips that you think are very important and that you think can help improve somebody's work. I'm always open to suggestions. I'm always open to learning. I'm trying to improve every day. So if you have any tips, comment them down below. I'm always trying to improve. I am Ant217, and remember, I'm awesome. Thanks for watching.